This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. It is something that pilots pretty much everything you do on a minute-by-minute basis, pretty much in our lives. I'm talking about emotion. Everything really comes down to emotion. Decisions that you make, directions that you go in. How can you regulate those emotions and work with them? That's just a piece that comes from something known as the intentional success system. And we're going to talk with the gentleman who founded that and helps people move their lives forward in so many different ways, all part of intentional achievements. He is Joe Price, back on the program. How are you today?
Good to see you, Steve.
The students have shown up. We're here to learn. I've learned so
Excellent.
much from you, and you make it so easy to absorb and understand. Every time I've spoken with you, things just come clear. You said something before we even got on here. I want to start with that because I think it's radically funny. You wrote a book. What was it called again?
Are you a toolaholic?
Toolaholic. Now I could take that. Are you a toolaholic? And yeah.
Right.
But what we're referring to here, as I understand it, is people that go out there looking for pieces of information, whether it's to change the psychology or neuroplasticity in their brains and all these little things here. But do we actually do anything once we hear about it and learn about it? And I confess, sometimes not so much, though. Even when I read a book, I shared a book I read, and I haven't really started practicing it. And now I feel that I have to go back. And fortunately, when you do an audio book, depending on the platform, it has sections and keeps notes, and you can press the button and it'll just save those notes.
Right.
I feel like I have to go back and do my homework again because I really haven't done it. I invested the time and the minimal money in getting that audio book and the book.
Right.
Haven't really put it to use. Do you find a lot of people do that?
I would say more people than you think. It's such a trend because we have a tendency as human beings to play these mental games with ourselves, right? We pick up the book, we say, if I get one, tell me if you've ever said this to yourself.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Right? If I get one good idea, it was worth it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But my question is, what are you doing with that one idea to change your life? Because if it doesn't translate into you doing something different, I hate to say it, but it was a total waste of time.
I don't want to even hear any of this because you are the mirror in front of all of us. And I spent time, like I said, I was even away. So I dedicated my relaxation time to this one particular book. It doesn't even matter which one it is, but I can't tell you one thing that I've actually put into practice. And now I feel that I made that investment of time. I got to go back now. I'm angry at myself for not doing homework.
Well, let me get you out of that, right?
Please.
Because that's my job as a coach to help you move forward. And if I were your coach, in all of my coaching sessions, at the end of all of my training sessions, I ask two questions. And every time you go back to that book or that audio book, ask yourself those same two questions, and it will make a huge amount of difference for yourself. The first question is, what did I learn from this section of the book, right? So you identify one new idea that you got. Because a lot of times we read so much that it's rolling around in our brain, but it's all unconscious, subconscious, and our brain can't distinguish between the various things that you've learned, and it just becomes mush and therefore doesn't change anything. So if you say, what's one thing that I got out of this today? But here's the most important part. What am I going to do differently in the next 72 hours to implement what I've learned?
Mm.
You make that change, you will see enormous amount of difference.
Got to go back to that book again, and it's like
Right?
I
But it's
dedicated
the
it.
same thing with books and CDs and YouTube
Yeah.
videos and shorts, but take it into the business world as well. And you go into a meeting or a training session, it's an hour and a half long. You've got a tremendous amount of information, and you walk out of there, and what do you do with it? What changes
I
take
did
place
exactly
as a
what you
result?
said. And I had a certain amount of time that I was dedicated, and I don't have time to read books and audiobooks. I really need to change that on a regular basis. But I had free time. I set aside a few days to dig into this book, and it's exactly what you said. And I'll even admit I had on like point five faster speed because I was like,
Right.
"Ah, okay, give me more. I'm gonna get a lot. I'm gonna get a lot. I'm gonna learn a lot. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great." And I would even
Yeah.
think about it. Oh, that's a really good point. Oh, that's a good point. He said that. He said this. I don't remember anything from it,
Hmm. Yeah.
except that had it on point two fast speed.
Right.
So, got to go back. But what a great, you know what the seals the deal for me in that whole concept? The 72 hours. Now you're tasked. Now you've
Correct.
got a deadline to make it happen.
Yep.
Because if you just say, what did I learn and what I'm going to do with it? Okay.
Right. And
It's,
if you want to take it one step deeper, Steve, here's one more thing you can do. Within 24 hours of learning it, teach it to somebody else.
you know, interestingly, I do that. I have a group of people I'm connected to, and I share things with them. And we have a chat that I throw things in.
Yep.
It's a men's group. And we support, but we also do community service, leadership, and things like that. And
Sure.
as a matter of fact, I have a meeting tomorrow night. We do weekly meetings. They asked if I would be the shaman. So one man usually does it in another tour of this group. I did it every week. Um, what am I going to say tomorrow? What do you got for me?
Yeah.
And it's quick. It could be just a minute, 2 minutes, anything that you could. I know we pivoted here, but is there anything that
Yeah.
impactful I could share? Anything stand out?
There's just so much here.
I bet.
There's a universal principle that says we're trying to create balance or harmony in 9 areas of our life all at the same time. Our career, our finances, our primary relationship, our families, our social life, our community life, our spiritual life. How do we do that? Right? How do we create that kind of harmony? And the interesting part is that as intentional as we may think we all are unintentionally in some areas of our life. Our careers might be going good, but our finances are not. Our social life might be good, but our primary relationship is failing, right? And so the message that I would give the group is take a look at the 9 areas of your life, pick 2 or 3 that you can make a commitment. How can I be one more step intentional in that area of my life in the next 72 hours?
Mm, love that. What are those 9 areas? You say career,
Career,
finances.
finance, primary relationship, family, social, community, spiritual, physical health, and emotional health.
I'm prepared for tomorrow night's meeting. And you're saying pick two or three of those. And
Right?
what's
Because
what?
here's the key. If they picked one, then they're isolating one area of their life as a problem. They may be more intentional in that area, but they don't take into account how that change is going to affect the other 8 areas of their life. So they may say, I want to spend more time with my kids. So they spend more time with their kids, but they skip the gym, or they don't spend enough time with their primary relationship, or they're thinking so much about a problem in their family, they take that to work, right? And so, whatever slight change that we make in one area, we have to consider what effect is it having on the other areas of my life, and am I okay with that effect?
Question on all of that. 9 different areas. Our goal here, yeah, we're always trying to create balance within. Is it ever possible to have, I'm going to use this word loosely, perfect balance with everything at the same time?
No,
Didn't think so.
right? And that's the reason why we teach to create harmony, not balance, because balance signifies equality. And if you're sleeping 6 to 8 hours, working 6 to 8 hours, eating 3 hours, you know, how much time do you have left for the other 7 areas of your life or 6 areas of your life? So the key is to create harmony where you say, spending one quality time uninterrupted with my spouse or my kids creates harmony in the other areas, even though it's only 1 hour.
Gotcha. And I wrote down very quickly because I'm jotting notes. It's a universal principle. What would you call this?
It really is. All of the intentional success system is based on universal principles. That way, everybody can apply them everywhere, right? So, for example, here's another universal principle. We all have the same amount of time during the day. We all have 24 hours in a day. The billionaire doesn't get more time. The single mom can't get an extension from today until tomorrow, right? We all have that same amount of time.
Mhm.
And why is it that some people excel in that 24-hour period of time and have time left over? And the rest of us say, if I only had 8 more hours, my life would be better,
I'm waiting
right?
because I'm that's me.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with time. It has to do where your time is going and the discipline that you have to create harmony in all 9 areas of your life.
Got it. And I believe that that goes back to some soul searching, and I call it what your power. What is taking or stealing your power? Because there is
Correct.
something. There's always going to be something pulling from you, and if you allow it, now you don't have time. You don't even have the bandwidth because, and it could be people, it could be your job. So many different things could be stealing your power.
And let me show you how subtle this can be. If you are a very highly organized person, but for a period of time you let your desk look like a cyclone hit it,
Yep.
the emotional drain, the unconscious emotional drain of that cyclone looking desk takes your power away.
I completely agree with you. And I heard this from somebody who is, I'm just going to say, professionally intuitive. This is what they do. They're famous. I've worked with them for years. We worked together in media projects and such. Said that to me a long time ago that if you walk in, you got boxes all stacked up and everything there. What's happening is it's blocking the flow of energy. Everything is energy.
Correct.
You may not even realize it. And I even find it because in this area, in this studio building area, there's a door that you shut, and then there's some glass right in front of me, and then there's another area of studio in front of it.
Sure.
Sometimes I'll leave that door not fully closed, but just a little closed. I find, and I did a test on this the other day.
Distractions.
It's yes, and when I open the door fully and push it against the wall, and then, I walk in and out, maybe run to the bathroom or grab a lunch and then come back. I feel refreshed in a way. Can't even put words on it. just from a
Yes.
door that's, yeah, I don't want to say half closed, but just enough so you can get through it, or one
Sure.
that's fully open.
Right.
It makes a difference.
It really does.
Really does.
And
Hmm.
all of us have these blind spots where we don't see the things that are taking our energy and our flow and our distraction. And we need somebody external to us, an intentional coach, I'm going to suggest, right? That helps you look into these 9 areas of your life and figure out where the imbalances or where the lack of harmony really is and what's causing it, but more importantly, the practical application of the intentional principles to overcome that and become more intentional and gain control.
And I'm going to go a layer deeper, maybe three, that those things that you allow to steal your power, there's a reason for it. And it goes back to typically something in your past. Could be your childhood, most times than not. There's something going on there. And let's go one more layer deeper. I spoke with a professional organizer who doesn't look at organization of just cleaning things up for you. She looks at it psychologically and says that, those people are a little messy, a little sloppy. And we like to think like, yeah, Mike's a mess, man. He's got everything all over the place. He is just like all of us. We're all the same, except there is a psychological reason that some people are less organized than others. No
Right.
judgment, but there's a reason for it. It isn't just, well, I'm just born a mess. No,
Right.
there's something that's going on in your subconscious that's causing you to be that way.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. And a lot of times, what I'll do with some of our clients is suggest to them that they could take some time with a professional, a social worker, or psychologist, psychiatrist,
Sure.
to address, those kinds of issues. We did for about 7 years. I wrote a program called Intentional Recovery, and we took folks that are addicted to drugs and alcohol and just whatever the addiction is, and help them through their recovery process. And the system that we designed had a therapeutic component to it and a coaching component to it. And what we found is
Mm.
that the therapeutic component helped them address the things from their past that was affecting their present. And the intentional coaching component addressed the present and how it's affecting their ability to get what they want in the future. And
Wow.
when you combine those two together, we had one of the folks go through our program that says, I made twice as much progress, twice as fast by integrating those two components together.
Wow. You know, it's interesting. We started today talking about emotion and we pivoted in another direction. Time
Right?
that we have left today, this has been all great. Um, and very organic. This wasn't even planned.
Yes.
Let's center on emotion and how it governs our lives.
Okay.
To what extent?
So you remember one of our foundational principles is our reaction response intentional action model that says that 92% of us react to situations that happen to us, right? Now, that reaction, the majority of the time, is based on feelings and emotion. Whenever feelings and emotions get involved, it's impossible for logical, intentional decision making to happen.
Hmm.
Now,
Now
what's
you're saying that's
interesting
pretty
about
strong what you just said there. Impossible.
it's absolutely impossible, according to studies and my 40 years of experience in doing this. Because here's what happens neurologically, the amygdala, right, which is that emotional center, hijacks our frontal lobe, and all of the decisions that we make come out of our emotions instead of our logic. The study says, which is fascinating, that when we get hijacked by our amygdala, our IQ drops 30% immediately,
I've heard that stat, but wasn't really sure why that actually happens.
right?
Hmm.
Because we're no longer using our intelligence. All of our decisions are based on our, what they call the lizard brain,
Yep.
right? The
Yep.
emotional side of us. And everything is not intentional, it's reactionary. And when we give that control over to that situation or person, that situation or person is actually in control of us for as long as we allow it, right? Now, the question becomes, how do we get out of that? Well, the intentional thought process is this: thought creates feeling, feeling creates action, action creates results. Let me say it again, follow along, and then we'll talk about it.
I'm writing it down.
Thought creates feeling, feeling creates action, action creates results. Somebody cuts you off on the road, 92% of the time, you're going to skip your thought process and become reactionary about who or what just cut you off, right?
Hmm.
Your emotions just hijacked your logic. You're in an emotional state, and every action that you take from then on comes out of that feeling, right? That inconsiderate so and so just cut me off, right? Now, how do I gain control back? How do I use my logic to overcome that emotional state? But think about the process. What comes before feeling?
What comes before feeling is thought.
Thought, right? We can change, and it's the only thing we have control over. We can change our thought about what just happened. So instead of saying to ourselves, that inconsiderate so and so, you could pause and say, maybe there's an emergency that he's heading toward.
Funny you should say this because that's an example that usually I give of how I think of things differently. And yes, for the split second, you're like, what did you just do? And then you could marinate on that for quite some time or
Right?
flip it like you just said. And I do it I try to that, oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe they just got an alarming phone call. Maybe they're rushing to a hospital.
Correct.
Maybe they're working three jobs to support their family. They should be paying attention, but give a little bit
Right.
of, grace
Now,
there.
take the process in order. When you made that thought change, what changed in your emotion?
I went from anger to empathy.
And as a result of that empathetic feeling, how did your actions change?
I just went on with my day and just let it go.
And the result?
Lower stress level, can focus on more important things because it was over like that. Nobody got hurt. The car just cut you off and kept on going. Hmm.
So, if every single person listening to this learned this very simple four-step process: thought creates feeling, feeling creates action, action creates results.
Results.
Stop, breathe, and ask yourself this question: what am I thinking right now?
And then change it. And
And then
whatever way
change.
you want to do it, I think of it in terms of media. Stop, rewind, play.
There you go.
It's like, well, let's just do this over again. Take and you just said breathe. That's probably the most important thing when you have that thought. Call it the alarming thought.
Correct.
It's almost as if you're hitting your own reset button and you're also reevaluating the situation for that second, which can help you change your feeling, action, and then results.
And in our terminology, what you just did with that one breath is change your reaction to a response.
I'm writing that down too. Great stuff. This is just all of this part of the intentional success system. Joe, you coach people, you help them, tried and true methods, universal, some of them, we just don't realize them.
Correct.
How do we connect with you?
Intentionalachievements.com. And if they go to the contact page, there's a button there for my WhatsApp page, and they can send me a message and we can talk.
Thank you for all you offer and what you do, and also personally making me the smartest person in the room tomorrow night.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll catch up next time.
Appreciate it.
Same.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.